Yes, too.
Yeah, so week 1, I lost because Perks was sick. Week 2, I lose because my support did not do as well as they should have. Week 3, CLG does this thing where they win game 1, they lose game 2 in horrible fashion, and then they stomp game 3, and you don't get points for game 3s, so I just get screwed like that.
Listen, we're all happy to hear you complain about your fantasy loss, but seeing how we are live on the internet, do you want to go ahead and intro this show? And
Absolutely. This show is not about my fantasy woes. This is the Nexus podcast with Gabriel Zoltan Johan.
I'm Josh Burry.
Hey, and I'm Ryan. What's up?
Hey, and we got a very special guest
we
for
do
you
indeed.
today. It's not this hat, which I am being forced to wear by Ryan. It is Fabian Febiven of H2K. We're going to bring him on. We're going to talk about Europe. We're going to talk about Rift Rivals. And we're going to talk about his journey from H2K back to H2K. I think that's pretty interesting. So we're going to get him on and do that.
Do we want to bring him on right now? Or
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I know
right.
we have a limited amount of time with Febiven, so I definitely I have a lot I want to ask. So
yeah.
Sweet. All right, Febiven, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, and you?
Very good, very good. I mean, other than I don't know if you could see it. I'm wearing like a really silly green hat because I lost a bet, so not that great.
Unlucky.
Yeah. So we do have a lot we want to talk about today, and we want to get through it really quickly.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to start with how you guys are doing right now, which is very well.
Yes.
You know, we're entering the cross-group stage of the EU LCS. You guys are facing teams from the other group, and you guys are sitting in a pretty cozy 3-1 record. And also, you guys are playing your former team this week, and I think that's a pretty exciting match.
Super exciting.
Yeah, because you both are also like on top of your group. So for just first off, right off the bat, how do you feel about that match and about like the group stage overall?
You mean the group stage against the enemy team? Group? The opposite group?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I think Fnatic is probably top 2 right now in LCS, same with Unicorns.
Okay.
So, I mean, they just have this really aggressive style that they play really aggressive and always look to fight. So it's gonna be tough for sure. We haven't really practiced against them, so it's a bit of like defensive team, calculated team against like really aggressive team. So we have to see, and I think it's gonna be really close. Yeah.
So you guys would call yourself the defensive team. You guys would call yourself like more calculated, more controlled, kind of in the style of G2, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like we try to play more calculated, not take literally every fight, even though it looks good for certain players. So yeah, we don't really like to play really messy, I guess.
I want to ask you, Febiven, about the upcoming. You're going to be facing Caps, and this guy's had quite a journey in the LCS so far. So I want to know, just like from what you've witnessed, what you've seen from this guy, what do you expect when you guys face off?
I don't really have any expectations. I mean, I know this guy has good mechanics. Besides that, I don't think he's like better than, for example, Perks or Exile or something. I think he's just normal, and I mean, he has been playing really good. He has really good stats and stuff, but I don't think it says much, and I think it's gonna be really exciting to play against him, because I think mid lane is really important right now, and whoever wins mid or can get the pressure mid translated to the team is gonna win.
All right, so sounds like you're pretty confident then.
Better mid wins.
Better mid wins.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yep.
So we wanted to ask, I guess, as well, because this is a match with your former team. You've had this former team kind of match a few times, but there's been some recent developments about your time at Fnatic. We had an interview with Rekkles where he said he was your favorite teammate.
You were his favorite teammate.
Yeah, sorry. The other way around, yeah. So the question we have is that, one, is that something that you kind of shared with him? Like, what was the kind of bond that you had with him, perhaps, that made him say that? You know, because he's had a lot of teammates over the years. A lot of big veterans, a lot of important people. You know, even Froggen was a teammate of his on Alliance, for example, and people speak very highly of him. But he went out of his way to speak very highly of you. Why do you, you know, what were the kind of experiences, I guess, that you guys had together that made him say that?
I think already since the beginning, when I didn't even know Rekkles, I was already like really into this guy. You know, like this guy was so. He was like an idol, you know, and he was already so good, and his personality was like really nice to see, and so young, so good, and I just saw myself a bit in him. And then when we met, you know, when you meet someone, it instantly clicks. Like I had this with him, and it's pretty rare that you have this where you meet someone and then you instantly have a click, but I had it with him, and I think we just really respect each other as players, and we kind of have the same goals and are really hungry to improve and just get better at everything we do. And yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Like he was my favorite teammate for sure, like until now, and I really miss playing with him because he's like really good, and he's a really good person. Like he's so motivating to be around. Like for example, now he's so motivated with everything, and he's always performing, and he's like a brother, you know. So yeah.
I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense that two guys who play League of Legends end up becoming friends. Like, a lot of people want to think that there's got to be bad blood, that these guys are like the epitome of pro esports, so that they should be competitive and not wanting to talk to each other and start rivalries. But the thing is that these guys have a lot in common. They're both playing the EU LCS. It's not like they grew up through whatever it is, like development leagues and playing each other in Pee-wee when they're 13 years old and get to a point that they end up hating each other. These are two guys that have a lot in common, that play a game that they love. So I know they're on competing squads right now, but you can still have a shared friendship. Like, I know people want this to be bad blood and competitive. I think it still is. It's displays of class, of professionalism, and of friendship, a common bond, man. It just makes a whole lot of sense.
I don't know. Sometimes you play with someone and it doesn't click, right? You don't have that experience, and
of course,
you know, you may rub each other the wrong way as a result. So, you know, it's not as guaranteed that just because you play the same game and you're on the same level that you automatically like each other.
No, of course not. But when people say, like, oh, if I made it to the LCS, I wouldn't be friendly with these people because whatever reasons. It's like, you're not there, and you could share a lot of things in common with someone, again, like Rekkles.
Fair.
Regardless of your matches that are coming.
I wanted to talk about, as well, just jumping off of that, Febiven, after your tenure with Fnatic, you had this kind of foray into motivating leadership, kind of self-help books and materials. Can you explain kind of what motivated you to even start doing that in the first place, and how you kind of brought those lessons to H2K, and how that has, you know, changed the way you approach the team environment at H2K?
Well, I think it started by after 2016, where we didn't go to Worlds. I felt like I was really stuck, and like didn't know how to get better, and I realized that I could have done so much better as a teammate and as a player. It was one of these moments when you just you look back and you see that you could have done things so much better, and then you feel really hurt inside if you're really honest with yourself, because you know that if you did more, you could have potentially carried your team to Worlds, and you could have played at the Worlds instead of sitting at home and losing in a Gauntlet. So I felt like something really had to change. I was really motivated after being home a few weeks, because obviously it gets kind of boring when you're at home doing nothing, when there's no competition.
Right.
And then when you see the international tournaments, then you get really like, you want to get back on track, and especially because I went to Worlds 2015 and then I didn't go 2016, it really hit me, and I just try to improve myself like as much as possible as a teammate, as a player, with everything that I do. So I'm trying to live like a more balanced, healthy lifestyle where I just have a healthy mind and I can play off that and try to be as efficient as possible, like when it comes to training and when it comes to competing, and like everything that makes me feel good, because then I play better as well. So I just try to do things right now that make me feel good and make me feel like I'm progressing as a player and a person. And once I see progression in myself, I see that I'm growing, getting better. So that is what motivates me. And it's really hard to translate this into like a whole team environment, because everyone thinks differently and
Right.
have different perspective of things and how they want to work and blah blah blah. But only thing I'm trying to do right now is just be a good example and work hard, play good, and just try to be always positive. And yeah, it's hard, but it's easy to say, but it's really hard to actually put in action. But yeah.
And I mean, those are the words of what an experienced player, and that's what you hope for when you get an experienced player in your locker room, on your lineup, whatever, is that some of this knowledge can transfer to other people. And the thing is that Febiven can't just rally behind his teammates and say, this is the way it was, this is what you're gonna miss out on, this is like how you feel, whatever. He can only lead by example, and that's awesome. But I just had one question. You said with the international scene, like it hit you that you missed it, like it hit you that you wanted to be there, and you're gonna do everything you can to get back to Worlds. What is it about the international stage that you miss? What is it?
It's just that when you, for example, when I went to all the tournaments, international tournaments in 2015, and you really feel like you're up there, like in your skill level, which I felt like, and I think I was. I think just being able to travel, play against other teams, other regions, you get so much better as a player as well. And I really felt like I deserved it, but I didn't deserve it, so it was kind of a fight with myself. But I felt like I was up there with my skill level, but I could have done so much more, so I just tried to do that, And then when you think that you're good enough to play in international tournaments but you're not there, then you actually get really mad, and you want to make sure you're there next time, Else it's just you're not making use. I think that I wasn't making good use of my time, like efficiently enough,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I wanted to ask also, kind of jumping off of that, you've always worked with Korean players, originally Huni and Reignover, then Spirit and Gamzu, and then now Nuclear and Che. You talk about kind of your own work ethic and making sure that you can set an example for everyone on your team. But we've also always heard that Korean players and players from Korea, from Korean training environments, come into new environments, new Western teams with a very heavy, high work ethic. Is this something that you saw in your previous teammates? Is this something that you see in Nuclear and Che now? Because they seem to be adapting very well to Europe and kind of approaching the game in an aggressive, fast manner. Is that something you saw before, and is this something you see now?
Yeah, actually every Korean I work with is like really spamming the game 24/7, like not literally the whole day. I mean, obviously people take time off, but like I think it's just, I mean, you just have limited time, and the Koreans are really try hard with the game and like are really into the game as well. More than like going to the gym or doing something else outside of the game, like I think most pro players are like that, and Koreans are like really hungry, and I always see them playing, so It's good, yeah.
So then that in some way they're an example for you with that drive too, right? I know you said you wanted to be a good example yourself, but in some ways they're a good example for you to kind of commit yourself to the game more, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I see, for example, if I feel like I'm slacking off or I need to practice more, and then I think about my teammates practicing so much more than me, for example, or like extra games when I'm doing something else, you know, I can get motivation from that, yeah, which is a good.
But in the end, Febiven, like you're somebody who's saying that you want to take more time for yourself, you know, time playing the game and get it in and make it efficient and make it a positive thing. But at the same time, your life is important too, and you've got to have this holistic approach to your mental health, the physical health, stuff like that. So, I mean, what is the breaking point? What is too many games? Is 24/7 too many games? Like, and what was that breaking point for you that you realized I need to take care of myself? And by playing 20 hours a day, for example, I'm not getting any better. I can get just as good playing 8 hours.
I mean, I think the last thing you said is like you can always get better, but it's like small. Like, for example, if you play solo queue, you can always improve your mechanics or train a new champ, but it doesn't really change much in the whole picture. But I think like once you played like the whole team practice the whole day, and before that you play solo queue, and after that it's also good to play solo queue, or like to stream or do things for your organization, blah blah blah. And I think for me, I just try to play when I feel like really playing. You know, like I'm still playing a lot of solo queue and playing with my team. I'm just trying to balance it more. Like I try to go to the gym every day. I do meditation. I have my journal which I write in every day and stuff like this, and occasionally I read. But I think it's just up to myself, like how I balance everything and like schedule everything in a day. And like it's really important that I eat good and that I feel healthy in my mind. And I think by doing those things now, what I'm doing is I feel a lot more happy, I guess. I mean, I didn't really think of this before, because when I was in Fnatic, I was only playing the game 24/7. Was only the thing that mattered to me. But like right now, there's more things in life that actually are important to me, you know, besides playing the game all day, because I want to grow as a person and not only like as a player, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And there are certain GMs and stuff that believe that by taking this holistic approach, by becoming a better person, well-rounded, that you're improving your game. And people say that there could be longevity in their careers. It doesn't need to be this 24/7.
Being better teammates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that synergy can work. And the other thing that Febiven touched on is the same way I feel about homework. Like, you could work, say, put 40 hours into studying for a test to get like an 80. But you need to put in another 40 hours to make that 80 into like an 82 or an 84. So the thing is, it's like an exponential learning on the skill, that after a certain number of hours, you can only gain such little bits. And that by becoming this holistic approach to it, you can, I mean, again, some CEOs are talking about really improving people's games by taking the holistic approach.
One thing I really want to ask Febiven is we now have this other international tournament in a sense that it's not completely global, but we will have the Rift Rivals tournament. Yeah, I'm really excited about Rift Rivals, actually. I think it's going to be really
Crew
sweet.
battles.
But I want to ask you, how do you feel about having this NA versus EU tournament, even if it is a little bit less formal than Worlds, in the sense that it's just going to be NA versus EU? And
it's a bit of a fun format.
It's a fun format, yeah, kind of like a crew battles format.
Super serious format.
And how badly is EU going to destroy NA?
Actually, I'm really not sure about that, but
really,
I'm really excited to watch this tournament, obviously.
Wait, why are you not sure about that?
Wait, what teams are going? G2, Unicorn, and Fnatic, right?
Yeah, and then it's TSM, Cloud9, and Phoenix One.
Ooh, Phoenix One.
Well, I think people are like, to be honest, I'm not sure, but I think NA and EU is like not a lot of difference, like in skill level. Like when I see the top teams, or when I compare, for example, Cloud9 with like Fnatic, or like TSM with G2, I think maybe EU has like better individual players. But I don't think like the skill level is that like huge. I think it's like maybe EU 60 and NA 40. So
okay,
it's gonna be exciting for sure. It's not gonna be like one-sided EU is winning. You know, like I'm a European, but I'm not gonna be like that. You know, like
Okay.
it's a bit optimistic.
Well, I'll do it for you, Febiven, because I'm a secret EU trader. So not so secret now, I guess. So I think EU is going to destroy. But yeah, so I guess we want to just throw off some rapid fire
I
questions.
hope so, at least.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too.
Wait, before that, are you in favor of international tournaments being more fun, a more fun format like this, or do you prefer all these international tournaments?
The regal prestigiousness.
Do you prefer all these international tournaments being like super serious, like, you know, good formats meant to determine like a clear winner and a clear victor, and, you know, be this prestigious thing, or do you like that there's sometimes some minor international tournaments that are meant more for fun than anything?
Wait, is this tournament actually for fun or what?
Well, there's no there's no prize. There's just kind of bragging rights.
There's no championship points.
There's no points awarded. There's no you know, seed 1 at Worlds. There's nothing like that.
How do you feel about it now, Febiven?
I mean, now it's kind of looking like a troll tournament. So
do you like that though? That it's just a tournament for bragging rights, or do you not like that?
I mean, I think it's better than nothing. Like, I think it's gonna be like teams are still gonna try hard. You know, it's even though there's nothing on the line. Like maybe people will try hard a bit less or train a bit less, but like it's still really fun to watch and to play as well for the people who are competing. You know, so.
I think it's super cool. Like players get to get out there. It's another chance to interact with fans, to stream, to do anything like that. And the fact is, when you go to something like a League of Legends All Stars, you never really know what you're going to get. The team synergy, and is it really?
Yeah, it's like All Stars. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, this All Stars seems to me like a lot of times it could be guys doing things for fun, being silly, whatever. In this, although Rift Rivals is for no championship points, you still got the top teams from each division coming out, I think, with something to prove. So it's organized team synergy, and it could be some high quality, like very entertaining games that again,
or low quality entertaining games.
No, I don't think. I think it's going to be cool. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like IEM anyways, right? Like IEM had a prize pool, but
and all Europeans.
Yes, right, yes. Anyways, I want to quickly, because I know we can't hold Febiven for too much longer, I want to quickly move on to the rapid fire section of the show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw out some questions.
What's the explainer?
Yeah, I'm going to throw out a question. It's going to be a very brief question, and we're just going to go around the table. Everybody give an answer and a short explanation if you want. I'm going to go last because in the past I've gone first, and people got really tilted. So I'm not going to do that anymore.
the show.
Okay? So we're going to start with EU LCS this week. We've got G2 Esports sitting at a 2-2 record, going to be going up against Unicorns of Love at 3-1.
This is a rematch of the EU LCS Spring Finals.
It is. So my question is pretty simple. Who's going to win? And what is the degree of difficulty in that victory? Is it going to be like a Unicorns 50-minute, oh crap, we team fought in the mid and Unicorns wiped us, why do we always do this, holy crap? Or what is it going to be? So, Febiven, what's your read on this? Who's gonna win this one?
It's really hard. I hope G2 wins because I have a really good friend in that team. So
Okay,
that's fair.
But I'm not sure if they're going to win because right now G2 doesn't look that good and they need to get back on track. And I think they will in the upcoming weeks. So,
do you think this is the match that starts that?
I hope and I think G2 will win, but maybe 2-1.
Okay. So will it be like a stompy 2-1, or will it be like all long games that are really bloody? And
I think it will be a bloody animal game.
Okay. All right.
What about
guys.
you, Gabe?
I'm gonna say unicorns for this one.
Oh.
I actually think so. If you think
Why?
about it, Febiven's right. G2's struggling. One of their 2 wins was with 3 substitutes.
Yes.
So they're technically 1 and 2. They're not even 2 and 2. So they're not actually. They're still sorting things out. They're still probably a little fatigued. They don't really know the meta that well. So I think Samix, the Unicorns AD carry,
Yes.
has been playing incredibly well.
Yeah,
I
he's
think it's
playing
going to be
really well.
really hard to contain them. I think 2-1 Unicorns.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go 2-1 unicorns as well. I like what I'm seeing from Samix. He had some great plays. I want to see G2 bounce back. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Yeah,
as
just
an
not
EU
this
fan,
match.
Listen,
Yes.
U of L just came off a splice loss. Let me remind you, it's not just G2 who've got
Sure.
a couple, tacks in the loss column here. This is a great team, a history team going up against these unicorn wearing
Whoa.
pink hair
Whoa,
or whatever.
whoa.
I'm just saying. Listen, if you're going to talk about a team down in the dumps, G2 versus unicorn, you think they're going to kick them while they're down? I think G2 is going to bounce back with a quick 2-0, man.
Okay, if G2 wins this game, it's going to be big for this team, I think. I think we could agree on that. If
Yeah,
they take this
absolutely.
series, it's going to be good for them in the next few weeks. So,
Next question.
Next question. Mysterious Monkeys brought in Kikas and Amazing. They were both part of Fnatic Academy. Mysterious Monkeys was the Misfits Academy team. So my question here is, they are last place at 0-4 in Group B. They are
To be expected.
They are behind Vitality,
Hey,
who is
now.
1-3, and honestly, potentially people would have thought this team would have done better. So my question is, does this roster move affect the team's fortunes in any way? Can they actually move up the standings with this new roster, with this change, or are they just stuck at 5th place in Group B no matter what, even with Amazing and Kikas on the team? Any ideas, Febiven?
I think they can maybe be better than Vitality, but besides that, I think they will be stuck 4th, 5th place.
That's fair.
Fully agree with that.
Unless they have an insane boost, which I don't think will happen, but anything is possible,
Fully agree with that.
Okay,
I think, Kikas and Amazing are good players. They showed it by promoting to the LCS already. But beyond that, I really don't think they'll be better than anyone but Vitality with this move.
Okay, somebody in chat is criticizing me for saying Kikas, so my apologies. Yeah, my bad on that. I think it's going to be good for the team. I think that if Vitality doesn't do something pretty fast, they're fortunate. Like, they could definitely drop games to teams that they would be expected to beat in the future. And yeah, so I guess this wasn't an interesting question.
I mean,
In the sense that I was like,
I've
fourth?
got to expect that once the Misfits Academy team gets into the LCS, to make a couple signings like this, I think it helps their roster. But
They should have done it earlier.
Yes, but what we talked about with the Ninjas in Pajamas is that it's not a team with synergy, and this is a Misfits Academy team that have won the promotion tournament in the last split, and now we're deciding to split them up because now they're in the spotlight and they can do moves like this. I think that again, probably bottom of the group, man.
Yeah.
These groups are like, when you actually look at the groups, that Group B, the top 3 teams are all 3-1 right now.
Yeah.
So it's 3-3-1 teams, and then a 1-3 team and an 0-4 team. So you got to think like you're really far behind 3 contenders that you haven't proven that you can beat. So I guess I'll keep a close eye on it. I like their logo, so that's pretty much the only thing I like about the team so far. So hopefully we get some more interesting stuff out of
Not
them.
even the best logo in the group, man.
That's probably true. I like it though. Okay, so NALCS, Phoenix won. My question is simply, what the hell? Because this is a team that, even though we've seen them, they've now made some changes. Did anybody predict that they'd be? What are they? 0-6? You didn't predict 0-6 though.
I mean,
no, you did.
my prediction was predicated on who they would use,
Yeah. Okay.
right? If they started using Shady a lot more, and they full hard committed on Shady, who obviously was not up to snuff because they transferred, they transferred someone to replace him, and their new jungler is sick. I love this guy. I've loved this guy for years. No, seriously.
Wow. Just
Mike
confess your love for this
Mike
man
Young,
on air, please.
Mike Young has
Hold
been
on.
an
Who?
amazing. Mike Young. He's been an amazing.
So not
player.
Medios, not Honore.
No, this guy.
What
has
the
been
hell, man?
Killer for the past 3 years. he just like makes a new account, gets challenger on 80% win rate, and then does a Reddit AMA and then disappears off the face of the earth. It's the funniest thing.
Well, guess what? You can order his jersey on Phoenix One's website already.
Yeah.
So there you go. They got a lot of faith in him. But seriously though, like when I say what the hell, my question is what is this team missing, and does this change? Like they are starting X-Special and Mike Young in the matchup page right now. Does this change anything?
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing. They looked a lot better with those two, so they've been playing really well with them. And I think like once they start playing like more bottom teams, that they'll do a lot better against them, especially because Mike Young is honestly so good. Like he's actually fantastic.
So you're really high on this guy.
I'm really high on this guy.
I get it.
I think he's an excellent addition. Should have been picked up a long time ago.
So Febiven, based on what you've seen from this team, like is there an obvious problem that you could just point to and say, like, maybe we should deal with that?
Well, I didn't even know that this team was 0-6.
Yeah, they're going to Rift Rivals.
Actually, yeah, this might not be fun then.
You stomp! He's gonna call it now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really watch. I mean, I watch NA LCS, but I don't really like keep track of the
Stats
record.
and standings.
But I don't know what went wrong. Maybe they just have to rebuild because they have new players. Like I think this is.
Well, you guys, when you guys went from your kind of undefeated record to being in the gauntlet and having those difficulties, how did you guys kind of reset, or how did you try to reset and find your form during that period?
I didn't.
Is it because it was so difficult? Is it because you were so focused on what was happening around you and the present and kind of the bad form that you just couldn't and didn't, or was it like something external? Or
I mean, there was so much things going on that were not going well, and we were not really good at solving problems. I mean, we were, but it was already too late.
Right.
And then we just lost 3-0, I think, in playoffs, and then it was hard to recover from that because it was already kind of.
So it's like a downward spiral kind of thing. So Phoenix One is screwed, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, it's looking like it, yeah.
if you told me at the beginning of the season that Phoenix One was going to get to 4 match losses before like Echo Fox, which only has 3 right now, I would have laughed at you. Yeah. So it's weird. It's weird.
You guys are over there asking, what the fuck, P1, what the fuck? And I'm saying, if you're a Nori, aren't you screaming, what the fuck? Especially off his strong performance in the second half of the last split. And for me, a guy who drafted him, looking at the stats, I thought that this was a lock. And then this Mike Young, this shadow man, comes out of nowhere, and Gabe's going to champion this guy?
Yeah,
what the hell?
All right. Last thing. This is more general, so it is about NA, but it's more general, so it's probably something you could speak to, Febiven. Doublelift gave an interview where he talked about how TSM is not focusing on being the best team. This was with Travis Gafford, unfortunately, after the collapse of Yahoo Esports. So rip Yahoo Esports. But so basically the interview was that Doublelift said TSM is focusing on being the best team instead of winning every LCS match. And that, I don't know if I buy that.
Does that make sense
I've got
to you?
I've got some quotes here that I want to just quickly say. He said, a lot of teams, they are figuring out what's best for their team at the moment, and they are focused completely at winning that week of matches. And then he went on to say, in the long term, if the meta changes, they've essentially wasted all that practice. I feel like for us, we're really focused at making sure we are the best all-around team. And so my question is, do you buy this? Do you practice for metas that don't exist?
Does that make sense?
And so I want to ask you, Febiven, is this real, or is this just something you say when you lose a bunch of games and you have to explain why you're putting Bjergsen on Galio?
I mean, it makes sense what he says, but then again, when you said that he said that all the practice is to waste, I don't think that's correct. But I agree that winning every LCS game is really not important as long as you are just well prepared for playoffs, because I went 18-0 as well, and it didn't really mean that much, to be honest. And like, I think we were also like really focused on winning every game, like every week.
Hey, but you guys went to semifinals of Worlds with that 18-0, so I mean, you know.
I mean, I think like he's right. Like with the training the more meta stuff and like being ahead of the meta, but I think you can do both at the same time. But it's really difficult because I mean, obviously you're gonna drop games if you are playing new stuff and stuff, but if you are quick enough, I think you can manage to do both. But yeah, it's hard, and I don't think that you have to win every LCS game, because it's really not that important, to be honest. I mean, it is, but as long as you get to playoffs, you know.
Definitely.
Isn't it a little easier to kind of train both at the same time? Just really quickly, just because, you know, LCS is a patch behind all the time, and solo queue is kind of a way where you can test those new changes before you get into the LCS where those changes are going to happen, right? I feel like that makes it a little easier.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think playing a lot of solo queue is really important, and like reading the patch immediately when it comes out after your LCS match. So.
Yeah.
Okay, I think there's a little bit of truth to this, but also I think that you can't discount the fact that TSM has looked really weak in, like, especially in that Liquid set. They did not look good, and maybe that's not fatal. Like, they like right now they're still 2-2. So maybe it's not fatal that they look bad, but it's not a good look. In my opinion,
it's kind of funny how we have the similar trajectory of the teams that went to MSI, right? Both G2 and TSM are 2-2. They both look kind of out of sorts when it comes to understanding things. But G2 hasn't come out with this excuse of sorts, right?
No, G2 hasn't said that
powering through.
We're playing for the future meta.
Yeah, no, not exactly, right? So
I don't think it's an excuse, though. I mean, I wouldn't use it as an excuse, but yeah, that's just me personally.
Right.
I don't like to make excuses. I guess if he wants to do that and say that, then yeah, maybe people think it's an excuse. I don't know.
I framed it that way a little bit, so that's on me, not anyone else here. But yeah, I just like, it seemed like a weird explanation, but like I have no doubt that TSM is still a strong team. It's just that some of the performances have looked a bit
shaky,
a bit scary. Yeah, I don't know. If you're a TSM fan, you can't look at that Liquid set and be happy, I think so.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Their mid is really good, though. Insane player.
Yeah, well, yes.
So I've heard.
And he's European. He's European too. What's up with that? All these European mids.
Jensen and Bjergsen are so good.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely true. On that note, back to Europe. We're going to wish you good luck on this week's games.
Yep.
On the rest of the EU LCS season. You know, even if you don't win all your games, you know,
practice for that future meta.
Practice for that future meta. Practice for that playoffs meta. And hope we see you at Worlds too. Thank you so much, Febiven, for joining us.
Yep.
Really appreciate it, and really appreciate your insight here. And yeah, good luck. And Jankos can take off that shirt again once we're done here.
You're gonna make the chat jealous.
Yeah.
All right. Any last shout outs for Febiven to anybody out there before we let you go?
I think just want to thank all my fans who are supporting me and my organization, and all the people who like to watch me and that cheer for me. I think it's I wouldn't have such a big fan base if there were not so many people following me. So yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you all the fans.
All right, cheers. Enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, and try and survive that heat wave too.
Yeah, we've heard about the heat wave.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon. Thanks so much.
All right,
Thanks,
bye, Febiven.
All right, bye.
Yes, thank you.
Cool.
And there you have it, man. Okay.
I'm really excited for this week's EU LCS games. There's a lot of like precarious matches, a lot of people who are on the precipice. I'm stoked. I'm more stoked for that than NA, I would say, right now.
Did chat react to my shirtless Jankos thing?
No, but
our shirtless Jankos thing.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, but I want to know, because like
They did react to Prawley in the
came out,
background.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I love Prawley.
Yeah.
Shout out Prawley.
But yeah,
All right.
it was pretty good, guys. You missed it.
You missed it. Yeah, you missed that Doublelift quote. What was that thing again? Is this essentially like him saying, like a basketball player being like, well, I'm working on my 3-point shot because I'm starting to work out.
So I'm just going to keep doing it over and over.
I'm going to keep losing games as I work on my 3-point shot for later on.
Devil's advocate, though, it's more like we're experimenting with stuff because we can afford to do that. Because we are a good team.
And they feel like because they have the points from spring that they're just like kind of likely to make worlds. It makes sense. I think it makes sense.
They are likely to make worlds.
But hold on, so they're doing the backwards thing. A lot of people think that the spring split, just throw it out the fucking window. They said no, let's play hard spring, and then
that's a totally different debate, Ryan. We'll get to that.
Can we also
maybe some more?
Can we also talk about next week? We talk about the Rift Rivals and the whole P1 being there 0-6 right now because I forgot about that.
We'll get to that and we'll get to more, but. We'll do that all next week, and we hope everyone here is going to join us.
But now!
I want to see if we can get some Phoenix 1
We got some work to do, Ryan, outside of this.
I know. You got to take off that silly-ass hat.
Oh, thank God. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you guys next week on the Nexus podcast by theScore Esports.
Don't make side bets, kids.